Shalom from Jerusalem. This is Watchmen Talk, a series of conversations with Israeli experts and practitioners in the fields of military, diplomatic, and intelligence. And our special guest today is Brigadier-General Gvaram Haglili. Welcome.
Thank you.
You hold the unique position, you are the founder of this position of Chief Safety and Quality Assurance Officer of the Israeli General Staff.
Yes.
And apparently it was tailor-made for you. One can hardly think of another officer who could have filled this position, and it will be interesting to see whether you're going to have any successor in a few years' time or a few decades, and we will see about that. So, General, you started out as an infantryman.
Yes. In Golani.
When was that? The Golani Infantry Brigade.
I started in January 1980 in Golani as a simple soldier, and then I became a sergeant, and then go to course officer, and Lebanon War, and then deputy company, and then company
Commander
company.
But before you joined the military, where were you born? What was your youth like?
Okay, so I grown up in Tel Aviv, near the beach. I was a beach boy. I was the great mascot player in Sheraton Beach.
This is the sort of traditional beach.
It's called Metzitzim.
Hobby, yeah. This is again one of the cultural icons of Israel. A special place where people used to be peeping toms.
Yes.
Okay.
So I grew up there. I learned in high school, and I have 3 sisters and 1 brother, and simple Israeli family. My father was a barber. He had a barber shop. My mother was a housewife, and I grew up in Tel Aviv in those days, in the 60s and the 70s.
But from the beach, you didn't want to go to the Navy?
No, because I like the fields since I was a young boy. I like the fields, I like the travel, and I like the walking in the mountain. And I like to travel and take trips in Israel. Only in Israel. We don't know what is abroad in those days.
Israel doesn't have a special mountain brigade or division, but Golani is the one infantry brigade which is usually assigned to the north.
The best infantry brigade since then and today. It's tavua banu.
Inbred, but you still you're wearing the paratroop wings too, even though the paratroopers were competitive with
the paratroop is for just for hobby. There is a paratroop brigade. She's specialized in that. So Golani is the capture of the Hermon in 73.
Mountain
Hermon Mountain in Yom Kippur War, and most of my service in Golani was in the north, in Lebanon, in Golan Heights. Most of my young life I spent there.
Now, as a company commander, you were in charge of the engineer company. This is one of the 3 elite companies, in addition to the reconnaissance and the anti-tank company. The company which employs anti-tank missiles. Does that make you a qualified engineering officer too?
I'm also an engineering officer because I was the head of the commander of the engineering company of Golani. So I have a course who make me the engineering officer just for 2 years, and then
But does that mean the engineering officer must be very well-versed, very accomplished in many domains of engineering,
Yes.
demolition,
Yes.
bridging,
Yes.
now it's tunneling. What was...
No, in those days there was no tunneling.
Yeah, okay.
And today, those days it was how to broke a road in minefields, and also how to expose houses and how to broke to houses, and this was our main job in those days. And also we make a special operation in Lebanon with the recon company of Golani, inside Lebanon, far away in Lebanon, in the 80s.
And you were in competition with the Recon.
Yes, but we were friends because the commander of the recon of those days was Amir Oren, rest in peace.
Later killed in an operation
in 1988, and we were friends, close friends. So there was no competition. It was the main goal of two of us, and we made our job.
What you were wounded?
Yes.
How come?
Not badly. I wounded in my leg, and I wounded in my head.
But was that in combat?
No, it was in a stupid thing that we make in when we live in
the barracks,
in the camp. We make stupid things of stupid young boys. It was boring, and also it's happened in exercise, fire exercise. I wounded from sharp in my head because of
shrapnel.
Yes.
So that was obviously a lesson for your later job.
Yes.
So you had to move from combat command to staff positions.
Yes.
What did you do?
In 1993, I wounded in my back in training. I was laid down for a long time. I cannot move, literally, and I cannot put on myself anything, the vest and all the equipment. So I have to move to another job. And one of the officer suggests me, maybe take this job. It will be good for you because you like to be in the fields, you like to be with the troops.
And you wanted to stay as a career officer.
Yes. So I moved to the job of safety officer, and it was in July 1993.
40 years ago.
And since then, I'm in this area.
Okay. What are the principles of safety for a military which is obviously moving parts, firearms, many vehicles moving, young draftees, not very experienced, sometimes over-motivated?
You said all the risk. Now you mean all the risks.
Right.
The main thing is that professionality go with safety. This is the main thing. From the first day, we educate the young soldiers that the professionality go with safety. Safety, it's not a curse. Safety, you have to move with the safety. You have to act with safety, because if not, you can wounded. And also in real time, in a war, on operation, you can hit your man or wounded your man or kill your man.
Friendly fire.
Friendly fire. It's happened to us just a few weeks ago in Jenin, when there was a friendly fire between two troops, and it's happened. If you don't keep all the rules, and the procedure, it can happen. Also, we know that the operation and war and all this area, it's as Clausewitz said, it's the The war is the unknown kingdom. So we know that. And because of this, we try to educate, to act by the procedures and the orders. Of course, we want people, the commander, to think and to act by the situation
Circumstance on the ground.
and the reality, what's happening in the fields. But go by the procedure, go by the orders.
But does it conform to the so-called Israeli spirit of flexibility, ingenuity, improvisation?
Okay. In the Israeli army, we take the soldiers, the boy and the girls, in 80 and 90 years old. Most of them, they are very, they want to make a lot of things. They think they are
Creative.
They're creative. They think they know better than the commanders.
Do they?
And
do they know better than the commander?
they think.
The commander is only a year older.
No, maybe sometimes the commander is younger than them.
And he also thinks that he knows
Yes.
better. Yeah.
And everybody have a sign on the back that this is a student, because they are very young. They don't know enough. They don't have enough experience.
They came from high school.
They came from high school. Maybe they came from the mechinot,
Yeah, preparatory school.
preparatory school for army, and they need time to be professional. Army, it's professionality. You cannot do it. You cannot do it without the professionality. You cannot do it without educated in a school, in army school, and in all the college of officer.
So the younger you are, the more tendency there is for incidents and negligence.
Of course.
Because sometimes senior officers too are found
It's very,
negligent.
very unusual that a senior officer make mistakes. Very unusual. The mistakes is by the young soldiers, then young commanders, the sergeant, and the platoon leaders. Few of them by the company commanders. Very, very few brigade commanders and battalion commanders. Very few. All the accident that we investigate, for example, in this year, all of them, it's in the level of the young soldiers.
No, there was perhaps a few months ago 2 majors from an elite
I said in this year.
unit.
And 2 years ago was a very, very big accident.
They took, just to remind our viewers,
In Agoz, it was in Agoz.
it was the Agoz battalion, which is an elite
Special unit.
anti-guerrilla unit. And when they were bivouacked in the field, they believed that someone broke into the camp. They went out
It was outside of the camp.
outside, but
of camp.
they went out on a manhunt without going through procedures, and then they encountered each other, and 2 majors were killed.
The man who made the mistake was a young officer, very young officer, less than a year officer. He take himself, by himself, without any permission from anyone,
With another non-commissioned officer.
and go by himself to hunt thief. The other officer, there was in charge on this area, and they go to do the same thing, but they don't know that this young officer.
They didn't coordinate because they had
don't
no
know,
idea.
because it was after
So how can you prevent such incidents?
Incidents like that you mentioned in Agoz, we can prevent if the only man who make the mistake will not make it. You cannot do something like this without permission. But the man who was in charge on this field, the major, one of these majors, He have the permission to do it. He have to tell everybody, listen, we go outside. This is our mission. We go there and there. We have communication, and he give a brief to the people who go with him. What we going to make.
It sounds very logical, and one wonders how come they didn't operate this way.
No, the majors do this way.
But not the younger officer.
But the younger officer was there before them.
Okay, so let's take this example. Following the after-action review, which you and others conducted, are now infantry and other units operating in another fashion?
Of course, after we make this investigation, we make a short movie. We give all the army learn this accident. They must learn it. We called it red flag accident that every officer in the Israeli army must learn it. From today, to the next 2 decades, they will learn it. They will learn all the lesson learned, and they will learn how to prevent this accident.
Okay, here's a question for you. In general, is the Israeli military safe? If the impression is based that the Israeli military is now safer than it used to be when you were a young soldier and junior officer,
of course,
how come it wasn't safe then? What did you do in order to make it safer?
Okay. The Israeli army is safer than my days in the 80s. More safer by far. I can give you the numbers. For example,
please.
In my days as a company commander, every year, average death in the Israeli army from accident by duty was more than 45. Every year.
This is not operational or including friendly fire during combat?
Including friendly fire in training. In training. Not in operation. In operation, it's more. Okay?
But
including... And also, I must say it here, that the friendly fire in operation it's very rare. It's not so...
frequent.
Frequent. Okay? I talk about accident. In training, in accident by car, in accident by ammunition and guns.
And not while off duty, not over the weekend.
Off duty, more than this. So, in 1993, we start to act as a safety organization and start to talk safety and start to talk equality and start to educate to this safety, as I said before. Since then, our situation and our numbers is very better than the 45, but not enough. It's not better. It's not good enough.
In the years after that, but not today.
Today also it's not good enough.
What is the number today?
Since 1923, till today is six soldiers who killed in accident.
And this is the usual average for a year?
I try not to talk about this before.
I understand, superstitious.
I believe in Ain Hara, if
yes,
can translate
the evil eye.
Yes. But this is the average today, between 8 to 6.
So let me interrupt you.
But just a minute, please, Amir. I cannot talk about average because every person, it's
an entire
life. I met most of the parents. I go to the Shiva and I meet the parents. Every parent, it's
a whole world shattered.
Entire life. And I try to explain to them what happened, and I try to explain to them that we make all the effort to prevent it. Most of them believe me. Few of them shouted at me, and I understand it, because we killed his son in a routine area, in routine training, it's not done. It's not good.
It's not you killed, you got him killed.
They
He
said
was
you killed my son,
I see.
and I don't tell anything. I shut up. I feel that I killed their son because myself, Gvaram Haglili, my job is a quality and safety officer. I didn't do good enough my job.
So while you are superstitious, you don't want to talk about the average and the projection, but if 6 troopers were killed in the first almost 8 months of the year, obviously some 10 will be killed by the end of the year. And the question is, how do you prevent the next 4
We make a lot of effort.
death?
We make a lot of effort to prevent it. When I said we, it's from the Chief General of Staff, General Herzia Levy, all the generals, or the commander of the North and the South, and everybody. And by the 6 that I mentioned, there is officer from Air Force who killed in car accident. There is a logistic officer.
With the lorry, which...
Yes. And there is 2 soldiers who killed from munition and guns because they play with it. And we try everything, and we do as much as we can to prevent it. And we also publish in the army. We publish the investigation and the conclusion and what we want to do to prevent another thing.
But several times over the years, you hear about distinguished officers, people who have excelled at the battlefield and in charge of their units. When someone in their unit is killed because of such an incident, the higher authorities say it is better not to lose such a promising officer. We will give him light punishment. We will delay his promotion for a year, but we want to preserve him in the military.
My belief, if there is I can give you also an example for this. 5 years ago, a soldier from the paratrooper,
Drowned.
Aviatar Yosefi drowned in the Galil Heights. His company commander, till then, was the best company commander in the paratrooper. The best, by far.
Was considered on a career path to battalion
Absolutely.
commander.
Absolutely. My belief, if he make a mistake there, and he have a responsibility to the accident, okay, we can punish him, we can move him for another job for 1 year, 2 years, and then we bring him back to the main
track. But if he denies responsibility,
but if he make something, it's out of nowhere, and it's a very, very badly thing without any thinking. So we understand, okay, this is a mistake. It's not mistake. This is a way of thinking.
and this is your recommendation, and it is accepted by the...
Not always.
Not always.
Not always. Even today, there is a few accident on the table today, and my recommend, if the officer is very good, don't throw him out. I believe in this. I can give you example from generals who make a mistake, and people of them killed because of their mistake. They became a general, and they learned their lessons, and they became a better officer. They didn't become a afraid officer, because we even don't want a afraid officer.
Sure.
We
Don't
don't
be too
officer-
cautious.
We want officer with the
General Haglili, you're a general staff officer. You come from the ground forces. Do you have any responsibility for what is happening safety-wise in the Air Force and the Navy?
Professionality, yes. I have a responsibility of what happened in the Air Force, in the Navy, and of course in the field, in the ground forces. I give them the policy and give them the guidance, and they must give me a report. I don't involved in what happened when F-16 go to bomb somewhere. Even I won't. They don't need to involve me in everything, but they act by our policy.
One last two-part question for a very short two-part answer. How is the Israeli military, safety-wise, vis-a-vis other militaries around the world and vis-a-vis other organizations in Israel? Just in short.
When I visit in the U.S. Army and U.S. Marines in 2010, and we give them our numbers, the secretary of the safety division of the Marines, Mrs. Connie something, I remember her very good, very tough women. I showed them the numbers. They told me, General Haglili, it's too good to be true.
Okay, we don't now. It's a good way to end our conversations. Thank you very much, General Gvaram Haglili. This has been another edition of Watchmen Talk from TV7 News Israel. We will be back with another program next month. For the time being, shalom from Jerusalem.
For more of TV7's productions and editorials, we invite you to visit our website at www.tv7israelnews.com.